Hello and welcome to the NBA Minutes to Win It podcast. I'm Big Italy 42. He is Jason Gilbo at JGilbo11. And we're talking about tonight's action. Of course, last night, really small slate. And tonight, a decent slate. Eight games on tap here. And actually some close games. Not really a lot of blowout concerns here, as far as Vegas is concerned at least. So there are a couple key injuries that are going to change things quite a bit here. Starting off with Mike Conley. Limited in practice yesterday, questionable for tonight. It's an Achilles injury. No official word that he's on the wrong side of questionable, but it seems that he is on the wrong side of questionable. If you ask me my personal opinion, I think you're kind of on the same thought process.
Yeah, definitely. I think he's a little bit more closer to doubtful tonight. He was limited at Monday's practice, which usually doesn't mean good things. And with an Achilles injury, I mean, you're pretty much useless on the court anyway if it's bugging you. So I think you're going to see Mario Chalmers and Tony Allen eat up, the minutes again tonight.
Yeah, so like you said, Chalmers there. Price rising on DK, still a decent price on FanDuel. He's going to be a pretty popular play once again if Conley sits out. A couple other guys, though, that I know we're looking at. If we're talking FanDuel, both guys are point guards. Drew Holiday, Tyreke Evans. Holiday coming off his best game of the season, finally playing mid-30s in minutes and had a hell of a game last time out against the Clippers. Tyreek's been playing well also, and while we're talking about injury news, of course, Anthony Davis questionable for tonight. Maybe he plays, maybe doesn't. Nobody really knows. It was about, I think, an hour before game time that they ruled him out last time, so probably going to be close to lock, but I'm proceeding assuming that he's not going to play because you kind of anticipate the Pelicans can win this game without him, and all the injuries he's had this year, I know personally I'd be taking it easy with him.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the only one he really kind of affects is Ryan Anderson.
Yeah.
Which, you can fire up Drew Holiday, Tyreke Evans. Yeah, they're going to get a bit more bump if Davis does sit, but they're still safe plays either way against this Lakers defense. If Davis ends up playing, Anderson kind of gets hurt a little bit, so that's more your riskier call if there is no news before lock time.
Yeah. As far as other cash game options, Brandon Knight's been really good recently. Not an ideal matchup today against George Hill, who's a good defender. He's a big defender as well, but as long as Eric Bledsoe's been out, Knight's been consistent right around the 30 to 40 fantasy point range, and price still really cheap, especially on FanDuel, so you got to like him. And one guy I like in tournaments, recency bias can help with this one, burned everybody the last two games after having two big games before that. Kyrie Irving, 7,600 on FanDuel, 7,000 on DraftKings, probably still going to play around 30 minutes tonight, but I mean, we know that Kyrie Irving can fill up that stat sheet fast and doesn't need to play 40 minutes, so a Dallas team that hasn't defended point guards or at all this year very well. So I do think Kyrie Irving's a good tournament play, but certainly not a guy I'm playing in cash with all these other options.
Yeah, I'm definitely with you there. And another guy who really torched us the last game was Michael Carter-Williams. Just 4 points, 6 assists, 5 rebounds in a game against the Knicks. So definitely let a lot of people down, but matchup against Chicago, coming off the back-to-back there for them. And Carter-Williams has been really good this season. Or not this season, but more of the last few weeks there. And Chicago, not good at defending point guards. So I think he's a nice tournament play as well.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm certainly a big fan of targeting the Bulls with most any point guards, really. Shooting guard, obviously the injury concern, as he always seems to be, is Kobe Bryant. He's the Dwayne Wade of this season, I guess, where he's just questionable every single game. So obviously if he sits, bumps to guys like Lou Williams, Jordan Clarkson. Obviously this is a battle of two horrible defensive teams, so any sort of value you can get in this game, you certainly want to take advantage of it, at least in the backcourt. I don't know that I'm touching that Lakers front court ever, but guys like Lou Williams, Tony Allen, like you mentioned earlier, if Conley sits, he's going to be a pretty popular play once again, and 4,300 shooting guard on FanDuel, still a pretty nice price for him with his recent production.
Yeah, definitely. Monta Ellis has been actually really good lately as well and gets a nice matchup against Phoenix, who hasn't defended guards very well this season. So he's averaging 14, 8, and 3, so he's kind of taken on the point guard role, I guess you could say, a little bit more with 8 assists in the last 5 games. So he's a solid mid-range price.
Yeah, Jimmy Butler's another guy, is on a back-to-back, but we know, he's Jimmy minutes. He's going to play a ton of minutes anyway, and first game against Milwaukee this year, played 39 minutes and scored 32 points, 10 assists, 2 rebounds, a steal. Had a hell of a game. And Milwaukee, another one of those teams that's a terrible defensive team. So they're down there. I think they're second to last in defensive efficiency. So Butler's certainly a guy to give a look to. And, you got James Harden there up top. You always like him in tournaments. He hasn't been a great cash game play, but has played really well against Memphis so far this year. 2 games, averaging over 52 DraftKings points a game.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Harden just a GPP play for me right now, and if he does see some Tony Allen, maybe that knocks him down a little bit for me because I think Allen's one of the better defenders in the league. So you figure in the prior matchups you didn't see Allen at all.
Yeah. Small forward options here. There are a lot of them tonight. You got, I mean, starting at the top, you got LeBron James, who's played very well. I mean, early in the season we saw him. He's the 40 fantasy point guy each day because that's all he needed to do. But recently, even with everyone back, I mean, he's been a man on a mission. So LeBron going to be probably the most likely superstar to make his way into my lineups tonight. You got Kevin Durant against Minnesota. You got Paul George against that terrible Phoenix team. You got Carmelo against Boston, who he already had success against. You get Kawhi against Detroit. I mean, a ton of options up top at small forward, and that might be a nice way to get yourself some stability in cash games is paying up for a couple of these guys there because it's not like there's a shortage of value everywhere else.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you look at kind of below at small forward. I mean, Tony Allen is small forward eligible on DK, but you look any lower than that, you're not liking a lot of these guys. So definitely not to pay up there. And LeBron, definitely my favorite.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Middle range guys, Jay Crowder is a guy I still like. I mean, his price is really starting to get up there. So with the other options, probably not a guy I'll be playing in cash games, but a guy that I'll throw in some tournaments because he does have that upside. Below him, though, I mean, you've got guys like Matt Barnes. If he plays, he's listed as probable for tonight, so he should be good to go. And he's been playing 30-plus minutes as well. Doesn't have a great floor, but 28 and 25 fantasy points on FanDuel last 2 games certainly puts him as a decent option for cheap tonight.
Yeah, definitely. And Marcus Morris, game time decision tonight. If he sits, I mean Stanley Johnson, but we weren't playing either of them against Kawhi Leonard, so just stay away from that situation.
It's just a matter of whose night Kawhi wrecks tonight quietly. But yeah, one of those guys is going to have a rough night. Maybe both of them if one sits, but either way. Power forward, obviously, the huge concern here is Anthony Davis and that fragile body of his, whether or not he can play tonight. Like we said, if he sits, I mean, you're playing Ryan Anderson in your cash games, and if he sits, you're probably playing Ryan Anderson in a lot of your GPPs as well. I mean, certainly not 100% ownership, but a guy that reasonably priced, I mean, way too cheap for the role that he'll likely have tonight. Wasn't incredible in his last game, but did play 43 minutes. I mean, he's just going to be such a popular play if Davis can't go that I just don't see any way you can fade him in any cash games.
Yeah, I mean, this guy's usually a pretty hot shooter, so I don't think he'll shoot 35% again from the field, especially against this Lakers team. So, he should put up better numbers than he did last game.
Yeah, absolutely. Zach Randolph, another guy, if Conley sits, I mean, relegated to the bench, was kind of an unplayable guy for a while, but had some monster games recently. You take out that game against OKC, and he went 26 and 18 in 31 minutes, 24 and 6 in 28 minutes, and 25 and 13 in 38. Another one of those guys, I mean, I'm not going to say he's a must-play, but if Conley sits out, I'll certainly have a lot of Zach Randolph.
Yeah, I mean, that 6-man off the bench role has really treated him well. I mean, he's been great, and, he's had some nice matchups lately, and he gets another one tonight because Houston's been awful against power forwards for what seems to be the last 5 years. So I'll definitely fire up some Zebo.
Yeah, absolutely. Outside of that, I mean, at power forward, you've got Pau Gasol. He's power forward only on FanDuel. On DraftKings, he's a center. Hasn't been great in his last 2 games, but I do like him in GPPs because I don't know what it is about Milwaukee, but this year, he just owns this team. Doesn't matter who's down low. So I don't think he's going to play much more than maybe 32 minutes, especially with Noah back. But, I mean, that doesn't mean he can't put up 45, 50 fantasy points in those 32 minutes.
Yeah, I think there were some talks of Chicago resting players, but I think they play Philly coming up, so I think that was the night you're probably looking at resting guys.
Yeah, wait till you play the D-League team. Yeah, although the Philly, though, has...
I know, Ish Smith, man.
Yeah, Ish Smith, MVP. But outside of that, I mean, LaMarcus Aldridge just played well, but it's still the Spurs. You're hesitant, so I'll play him in tournaments. I'll play him in tournaments because he's still cheap, but...
Porzingis, great spot tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. He's been consistent.
Kind of coming back around.
Yeah. I mean, for a kid who's like 16 years old, he's been, what is he, 22? Is that what it is?
Something like that.
Yeah,
hey, maybe 21.
He's young, but I mean, it's that Boston that you see in that matchup, the first Boston that you definitely like because that front court is just always susceptible to some big games.
Yeah.
As far as cheap guys go, Not a lot that really stands out. I mean, Tristan Thompson's been playing big minutes, but hasn't been particularly productive. If you have to punt, I guess he's the one guy I'd really look at because I'm just not a fan of any of these other guys down here cheap.
Yeah, I mean, on DK, Amir Johnson's been getting more minutes. He's actually been pretty consistent lately. He's averaging 12 and 8, with almost 2 blocks per game in that span. So for 4,700 on DK, I think he's center eligible on FanDuel. So I don't mind that on DK for power forward.
Yeah, that's a fine play for sure. Center options here. There's not a lot of guys in great spots. You got Greg Monroe against the Bulls, who haven't been good really defensively against anyone, particularly outside of anyone who's near Jimmy Butler this year. Dwight Howard's been really good, but he's got a tough matchup against Marc Gasol. But as good as he's been, I'll give him a look in some tournaments, especially on DraftKings at that cheaper price.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, you mentioned Pau Gasol where he's center eligible on DK, so definitely going to be my favorite center there. And I do like Greg Monroe. I think it's a nice cash game play tonight. He did show upside that last game, but usually you don't see that too often. And for just 6,600, he's a lock for a nice double-double tonight.
Yeah, and then there's also a couple cheap guys that I'm looking at. Jan Mahimi is a guy I've been playing recently quite a bit. He's not ever really going to play huge minutes, usually in the mid to upper 20s, but been really productive. Now facing a Phoenix team that doesn't have Alex Len. They don't have a lot of depth down there, and they're just a bad team, really top to bottom right now. They can't stop anyone, so I like him. And then your boy, well, I don't know if he's your boy, but it's your team, Kelly Olynyk. He's been pretty good recently in the minutes that he's gotten, relative to his price at least.
Yeah, I mean, before he was lined up at the center spot, he was starting. He saw 33 minutes against Chicago, 29 against Detroit, 34 against Brooklyn. Then kind of struggled a little bit, and then they went a little small ball, I guess, against Memphis, where he only played 22 minutes. But I mean, New York's not a tough defensive team, but Olynyk definitely just a GPP play. I think he's the guy you want for cash games if you're going value at center.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, that's going to wrap things up here for us for today. Find us on Twitter at DF Cafe, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and check out all the rest of our content at dailyfantasycafe.com.